teman-teman Technical Outdoor Indonesia. Hari ini spesial sekali. Kalau biasanya kita membahas soal brand dan produk. Nah, hari ini kita kedatangan orang spesial.
Hai guys, saya Rian Mac, aka Bule Bolang.
Yes, Bule Bolang. Pasti teman-teman yang suka hiking, yang suka outdoor activity udah tahu lah siapa Bule Bolang ya.
Semoga.
Oke, sekarang kita mau dengar cerita journey dari Bule Bolang terkait perjalanannya dia sampai akhirnya menetap di Indonesia. Pengen tahu kenapa dia memilih Indonesia sebagai to stay ya, stay in Indonesia. Yeah. Why you choose Indonesia?
So, istri orang Batak.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so my wife is orang Batak, and then so we're living in Jakarta. Before that, I was in the British Army for 9 years. 4 years infantry and 5 years forward observer. I think in bahasa, saya pikir di bahasa Indonesia kalian menyebutnya peninjau di depan. Maksudnya seperti sedikit beda tapi sedikit sama, mungkin pengintain, reconnaissance atau, but it's different. Itu beda sebenarnya dari pengintain. Itu beda tapi saya cuma coba menjelaskan. I think in your military you call it peninjau di depan. We basically call in the artillery, so we go out to the front and then like we would call in artillery, mortars, blah blah blah. So that's the job. What else? Jadi setelah itu banyak orang selalu tanya saya, kenapa keluar dari tentara udah pensiun? Jadi ini saya akan menjelaskan perbedaannya dari tentara Inggris, tentara British, dari tentara Indonesia. Jadi saya baru belajar saya ada banyak teman tentara Indonesia. Saya belajar kalau mereka masuk tentara Indonesia, biasanya mungkin 99% akan masih menjadi tentara buat semuanya hidupnya sampai pensiun kan. Tentara British sedikit beda. Kita selalu masuk sama we have in our mind we always think saya mau masuk tentara untuk 4 tahun 5 tahun untuk experience doang. Setelah itu kita keluar dan kita cari karir yang lain. Karena di UK banyak banget perusahaan suka banget kalau orang sudah tentara dulu karena kita ada banyak experience teamwork, kan? Kita selalu on time, kita gak telat. Kalau we have overtime, kita kan kerja keras banget untuk selesai projectnya seperti itu. We already have the mindset, you know, and we always look after each other. If we're in a team environment from the army, we always looking after each other, right? So then when you come to the kantor, you have the same mindset where you're like teamwork.
The basic, Okay. So, and then why you choose Indonesia?
Yeah, well actually saya gak pilih sebenarnya. So my kerja saya adalah trader the markets, forex, emas, bensin, blah 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 blah. And there's a company that all over Asia. They're not actually in Indonesia anymore. 5 tahun lalu mereka sudah pindah dari Indonesia, tapi ada kantor di mana-mana. Thailand, Jakarta, Singapore, Hong Kong, blah 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 blah. Ketika saya ambil kerja sama mereka, mereka tanya semua orang yang mau baru mulai kerja sama mereka, ada 3 pilihan, tulis 3 pilihan negara yang kamu pengen banget. Yang nomor 1 your favorite, nomor 2 if you don't get number 1 what's your second, and then your third. Tapi saya cuma salah satu orang di grup itu, saya agak peduli. Saya tidak peduli, saya sudah siap, ada semua barang-barang. Kalau kamu mau kirim saya ke sini, ke sana, kemanapun saya gak peduli. Ya udahlah, kita baru ada kantor di Jakarta, mau gak? Ya udahlah. Then so I ended up here. But during that time, I wasn't always here. Like sometimes I would go to like Malaysia for 6 months, Philippines buat 6 bulan, where else? Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam 6 bulan, and then they actually closed the office here. Tapi karena saya trader, saya bisa trading dari mana-mana. Saya cuma perlu laptop, komputer, dan wifi. Mereka pindah, tapi saya masih kerja buat mereka, tapi cuma dari apartemen aja.
And for now you content creator, right? Why
so,
you choose a content creator?
So this is an interesting story. Sebenarnya saya tidak punya rencana untuk menjadi content creator. Tidak ada rencana at all. What happened was setiap pagi saya bangun sama istri dan saya punya rasanya kuat banget. Saya mau pindah ke Skotlandia lagi dan masuk tentara lagi. Tapi saya tahu, wah itu udah terlalu lama. Itu idea bodoh amat kan. That's a totally useless idea, you know. But the point is, setiap pagi saya bangun, saya tidak bisa kehilang rasanya saya mau pindah dan masuk tentara lagi. Jadi saya bilang sama istri, Joy, saya ada rencana setiap 2 minggu saya akan pergi kemana-mana untuk petualang, camping di hutan, naik gunung, camping di dekat sungai, just to get this feeling of being outdoors and adventure out of my soul, you know. And then after a couple of weeks of doing that, saya ketemu Panji Petualang. And then sorry, before that actually I met some of my friends and I was showing them videos di dalam hutan. Mereka bilang, hey, kamu harus taruh itu di YouTube. Pasti orang suka banget. So I started putting it on YouTube. And then maybe 2-3 weeks later, baru saya ketemu Panji Petualang. Dan dia bilang, okay bro, saya YouTuber juga. Minggu depan kita collabs ya. Kita collabs di Curug Nangka. Tempatnya itu.
Bogor ya?
Ya, Bogor. Cuma ngobrol aja dan sumpah, that's the easiest video I've ever made. Saya cuma bikin hammock, fly sheet, ada tasnya di sini dan saya ngobrol tentang tin bertahan hidup. Ada survival tin, punya candle, punya pisau kecil, dan yang bikin orang yang viral banget, bikin video itu viral banget, sampai 65 juta orang nonton. Itu ada ini aneh gak? Ada kondom.
Tapi it's so aneh ya. It's so weird from Indonesia people.
So they're like, hey, why you have a condom in a survival tent? Jadi itu di tentara Inggris kita selalu punya kondom di dalam survival tent. Itu buat air. Kalau kita harus tempatnya air, itu bisa 2 liter masih aman banget. Tapi licin kan? Jadi triksnya kita masukin kondom di dalam kaos kaki. Dan kita fill up air, dan kita bisa putar, tie it, and then later we can carry it in the socks. You have 2 liters of water di dalam kondom, di dalam kaos kaki. And later, you can open the sock, and then you can drink it, and then you can just close lagi. So that's the reason, itu alasan kenapa kita punya gitu. But the thumbnail was mantan tentara British bertahan hidup di hutan pakai kondom. Jadi viral banget.
Iya. Karena kondom sesuatu yang aneh dan in Indonesian culture it's so
like sure.
Okay. And then what's the craziest moment when you maybe like expedition or do the adventure in Indonesia? What the craziest things
I would say the craziest thing was probably Gunung Cikuray. And that's when ketika saya pakai hammock, saya tidur dan di malam saya pikir, hey, kok saya bisa rasanya the floor? Kenapa my pantat is on the floor? Ini weird. So then I got it, saya tarik so lebih tinggi lagi. Saya tidur lagi, 2 jam lagi, kok bisa? And I thought my hammock was broke. Tapi ternyata 2 detik lagi, the pohon jatuh.
Oh my God.
Dan saya langsung kayak gini, and I lifted my legs up, just out of shock, you know? Just as it came down, and as soon as I lifted my legs, the pohon landed right here. So, kalau saya tidak ambil kakinya saya, pasti patah kaki dua kakinya. Karena itu berat sekali, sumpah. Ada 6 temannya bersama saya waktu itu tidak bisa ambil 1 inch, nggak bisa. Jadi kita harus potong dari hammock saya dan saya keluar ya. Itu yang bahaya.
Apa yang kamu suka dari Indonesian?
Banyak banget. So like the pemandangannya luar biasa. You know that you guys have everything here. Honestly, you have beaches, tropical islands, air terjun, sungai bisa berenang, ada hutan. Ada savana, ada gunung, ada volcano, ada volcano masih erupsi seperti Dukono, seperti Gunung Ibu, ya kan, erupsi mulu dan luar biasa. Apalagi ada semuanya. So and the people are great, you know. You guys are like very very kind people, very kind people. I don't think I've ever met anyone who isn't really kind, you know. Yeah, you guys are very kind. What else? Dan makanan enak banget.
Apa makanan yang suka?
So banyak banget. Saya suka beef rendang, tapi kalau saya makan beef rendang saya punya sakit perut mungkin 3 hari.
That's a problem.
Yes.
All of bule.
Yeah. Sakit perut banget buat 3 hari. So maybe I just have it like once every 3 months. But I know, okay, if I have this now, for the next 3 days, I'm gonna be in pain, you know, but I just take the hit. Singkong keju, suka
Singkong
banget.
keju, wow.
Yeah, suka banget singkong keju. Apalagi tunggu. Ada banyak sekali. Rawon. Rawon is one of my favorite. I totally love rawon. Mie goreng. I prefer mie goreng to nasi goreng.
Okay.
That's all I can think about just now. But the truth is, I love so much of your food. You know. There's loads of it. Tons.
And the last question.
Yeah.
3 tips or like 3 hal yang bisa teman-teman lakukan mengenai survival. 3 hal penting untuk survival.
So number 1 is actually relax and stay calm. That's actually number 1. Maybe sometimes people will go through. There's a real list, you know. Okay, shelter first, then cari air, then cari makan, then api, blah blah blah. You know, there is actually a lewat. There's a strategic way. But actually, what many people forget, banyak orang lupa. Satu itu sebenarnya santai aja. Jangan kalau kamu baru pikir, oh saya tersesat, and then jangan panik. Kalau kamu panik, your brain goes into survival mode.
Yes.
And you do not think logically. You know, thinking logically is really helps, and you need to be calm to think logically. If you start panicking, you're gonna ada jalan di sana. You're gonna go this way. You're gonna get even more lost. You know, you have to pause, sit down, and think to yourself, how bad really is my situation? Sometimes, most of the time, the situation that you're in when you first realize, I'm lost or this, it's actually not as bad as what you think it is, you know? So if you're standing up, then just sit down, look around at your surroundings and then think, okay, how am I gonna get out, you know? One of the things that I use is I actually use a Coros watch. This is an old one actually, this is a Coros Vertex Duo. But one of the reasons why I like to use it is they have a feature backtrack. You know, so whenever I start a journey, I put on mountain climbing, whatever, and then if you get lost, you can just hit backtrack, and then you can follow the watch back the way you came. So it's very, very useful. You know?
Okay.
Number 2 is, let me think. Number 2, this is a golden rule I always have. So you know, sometimes when you go on trips, kadang-kadang kita ada porter, Rinjani, kita ada ini, kalau kita sama grupnya temannya, kita kamu ambil tenda ya, kamu ambil ini, and we pisah-pisah semua.
Yes.
So I have a rule, and I never ever break this rule. Even if I'm on Rinjani, and I have separated my stuff, the porter can carry this, carry that, blah, 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 blah. I always have a rule that I will always personally carry enough stuff that I can survive comfortably. So if the Rinjani guy is providing the tents and this, that, the other, I will always carry a fly sheet for shelter. I will always carry a hammock for sleeping. I will always carry my own sleeping bag with the bivy. So even if I just sleep in the sleeping bag, you put it, a bivy bag is like a waterproof casing for so I can sleep on the floor. Even if it rains, it doesn't matter, my sleeping bag is going to be okay. So I always carry that. I always carry one means of cooking, so kompor and small gas. I always carry 24 hours worth of food, always. And I always have, on top of my water that I'm gonna drink on the adventure, the trek, I always have 1 liter of water that I never ever touch, and that's emergency water. So if this water runs out, I will not touch this. I will only wait until we find more water. I will top it up. It's only when it gets to a real emergency situation, I will then start to drink that water. So my rule number 2 is I always have enough kit on me that I can completely survive by myself if I get lost, you know.
Right.
Number 3, many people do this when you're on the mountains. It's not really for survival, but for mountains and stuff. When you're on the mountains, I see it on every single mountain that I climb, is in Indonesia, people don't really understand how to wear the clothing. They have the clothing, but they don't understand there's actually a method and a process on how you're supposed to wear it. So for example, I'm going to use Rinjani again. If you wake up at Rinjani at 1 a.m. to go to the summit, it's going to be freezing cold, right? And many people wear big jackets to keep them roasting hot. That is the worst thing you could ever do. That's totally, you're not preventing hypothermia, you're actually setting yourself up to potentially get hypothermia, because when you start off cold, after 2 to 5 minutes of walking, if you just have a small long sleeve top, that's fine. You're gonna become so hot, and you do not want to sweat. Sweating is the last thing you want to do on Mount Rinjani. But when you already start walking with the big puffer jacket, the goose down, blah blah blah, within 2 to 5 minutes, you're gonna be sweating like crazy.
Right.
The minute you start sweating, your jacket's gonna become wet. The minute your jacket becomes wet, it's broke. It's totally useless. It's not going to function the way that you need it to. So the best way is to start cold. Just wear a thin long sleeve top and a hat, gloves, whatever, that's fine. And then when you're walking...
Because you're walking,
you're walking, and you're gonna heat up within 2 minutes, I promise you. And then what happens is, when you stop, and you're gonna stop for minum, snacks, whatever, then you can take your jacket out of your bag and you put it on when you stop to make sure your body temperature doesn't drop. But then again, it's very important to be disciplined. When you're going to carry on walking again, take your jacket back off and pack it away, and then you go. I see many people in Rinjani and other mountains, they wear their warm kit, they're sweating hot, and when you get wet, your body loses body temperature 30 times faster than if you're dry. So your hypothermia is going to hit you very, very quickly. I've seen many people sleeping at the side of letter E in Mount Rinjani because they're cold and shivering. And then the worst thing you can do again is if you go to sleep, then you're going to get hypothermia and you're just going to stay asleep. You're not going to wake up, you know. So it's very important you guys start the process of learning how you're actually supposed to wear each piece of equipment.
Okay, thank you for the insight and incredible sharing.
Thank you very much guys. Sampai jumpa lagi.
Sampai jumpa teman-teman. Kita nanti ngobrol-ngobrol lagi dengan brand atau dengan bintang tamu yang lain. Sampai ketemu.
Dadah.